From Los Angeles and Nashville, get ready to go behind the scenes with Entertainment Dudes. What happens when you pair a director, a voice actor in a world, and some of the most interesting people in entertainment? You're about to find out. Hey, Jason, why are you slouching?
Slouching?
Slouching, yes.
I'm not
going
slouching.
on
What, this? Oh.
No, you kind of look like you're...
I'm kind of hiding a little reveal here or something.
What?
Something I'm very excited about.
Okay.
We have our Entertainment Dudes merch, and I actually just got my shirt, and I like it. It's got a good... You can flex your muscles in it. And, yeah, it's like...
Why are you only flexing on your side?
Oh, I have both sides.
There we go. Okay.
See?
Nice.
Both sides.
Wow.
Yeah, so anyways, where can you get this merch? Like,
Well,
are you asking me?
I'm kind of, I didn't ask that, but I will ask that now.
Yeah, I
Jason,
could tell you were
where
about
can
to.
you get this merch?
I don't know. Cam knows.
Oh, okay. How about merch.entertainmentdudes.com?
Yes. Merch.entertainmentdudes.com.
And
Can you do it?
My merch is not here yet, but I do have the one without our faces. Jason
Yeah.
has the
But I'd go with
faces
the one
right
with
here,
our
so.
faces. Otherwise, Cam and I are on our nipples, so if that maybe you like that, maybe you don't. But
Maybe you don't.
probably you don't. But I don't know. I think it looks pretty nice. It's a great quality, so it's a cool tee. Can you please do it in an announcer voice? Get Entertainment Dudes merch at...
Get Entertainment Dudes merch at merch.entertainmentdudes.com.
See? Why would we do it any other way? I mean, you're
I
a
don't
VO
know.
guy. Come on now.
Also, if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell for new updates.
Nice. Well, I think it's not... We don't have to talk to ourselves today because I think
No.
we have another guest for you.
Yes.
So, I think we ought to bring him in. Are you going to announce him, or are you just going to drop him in the show like you do?
Rick Sellers. No, I'll just drop him into the show. How about that?
Yeah, drop him in and then tell him about it.
There he is.
Hey, everybody out there in Podland, how are you?
Podland.
Podland.
I like that.
This.
I'm
Podland.
chatting with the Entertainment Dudes at Podland. Well, not at Podland, but you get the idea. Cam, that was a pretty terrific Gary Owen. I dig it.
Oh, thank you very much.
I think. Don't you
very
think you
welcome.
should? I would buy merch just because of that. I'd be like, send me to
Gary
the merch
Owen.
store.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rick Sellers.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Rick Sellers. Hey.
Yes.
Don Pardo. I still
Yes.
miss Don Pardo doing the cold open for Saturday Night Live, introducing the guests and everything.
Oh.
The guy doing it now, can't think of his name, is a former cast member, really terrific impressionist. And he initially did it as not Gary Owen, but as Don Pardo, and then stopped doing it and started doing it in his own voice. And it just doesn't quite have the punch there anymore. But hey, what are you going to do? I'm old school.
But I like how he brought it into it. Like, it's Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your host, Rick Sellers.
Yes, it was good. And it was almost like that goal. You know, that announcer.
Oh,
that did
the
that.
Brazilian soccer guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we ought to do that for now. Rick Sellers.
Yeah.
So, like,
Everybody.
half the show would just be that, and we'd be like, okay.
There you go.
Now we know nothing about him except his name.
So, Rick, you are the aficionado of all things voiceover, producing. I mean, people have probably heard your voice, and they don't know they've heard your voice.
I would imagine probably most folks that have watched television have heard me as the voice of the General for the General Insurance Company with Shaq. So, for the best car insurance rates in town, go to my buddy Shaq. He's cool, and he'll hook you up. So, Cam, if you need low-cost car insurance, or Jason, if you do, well, give Shaq a call. I'll be happy to help you, man. There you go. Anyway.
Shaq also wants you to buy Entertainment Dudes merchandise.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
should.
he does,
Yeah,
man.
go get it.
He's all about it. I remember when I first met him at Turner Broadcast Studios, they came over. He had a huge posse, and the corporate guys from the General were there, and they're like, hey, Shaq, this is the voice of the General, Rick Sellers. And he looked down at me, because I was like a child compared to a man. He's like, you're the voice of the General. I go, yeah. And he goes, bring it in, man. I love you. And he gave me a hug. And it was like a child, like a little boy being hugged by a man. And I'm like, I'm being hugged by a giant man. Oh. So, but fortunately, it was all very cool. We had a blast. So, yeah, good times.
That was a good impersonation.
That's
I'm actually
great.
kind of scared. I was like, is he here?
Yeah, well, no, not yet, but he's coming, so we'll see. He's got some.
I don't
Pizza
know.
Hut
I already
pizza
think we
delivered.
got the better of the two, so it's
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I don't know anything really about Jason. I know nothing about you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about you? What's
Go
your
on, Jason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay. I'm really great to be on the show. Thank you for having me, Rick.
Yeah,
Cam, I
absolutely.
appreciate this. I'm a director. I've been working for probably 24 years now in the directing industry, and moved out to California. I spent a lot of time in Nashville. It's where Cam and I met, doing music videos, TV shows, a lot of things down there, commercials, and a bunch of short films and some features. And I came out here because a buddy of mine started a production company, and he said, dude, I've got a lot of stuff that's going on out here. If you were out here, I could really use you. So I put the house on the market. It sold in 45 minutes. I told my wife, we had an apartment in Manhattan at the time too. And I called her and said, babe, pack up everything. We're leaving. We got 15 days to get out there. So we left. We got out here really excited. 3 shows to work on. And when we got here, all 3 shows fell through in the first 2.5 weeks we were here. And they said, well, welcome to LA.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is the business. You never know. It's constantly changing. It's like, water. It's cresting and rising and falling. But all right. Well, good to know, Jason. Very cool. Cam, why don't you tell me a little bit about you? I know you're a voice guy. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. As a matter of fact, Rick and I have worked together on some projects. This is one of them.
Oh, yeah, for American Greetings. Yeah.
That was great. And it's a little audio card.
It's amazing to celebrate a great sport and a fantastic father today. He's warm, he's funny, and when it comes to being an all-star dad, he always
knocks it out of the park.
Very, very cool. I'm sure that was a bestseller.
So,
yeah,
right there, Father's Day. So
a lot of
pick up your Father's Day card, right?
A lot of times I'll get a call from them and they'll want me to cast talent for a particular job or find auditions for talent. And that's what I'll do. I'll gather up people that I know, including Cam, who I think are suitable for the job, depending on what it is. And then once they have their talent lined up, I go ahead and book the session, and you get paid right away, and everybody's happy, and the product comes out. So it's very cool. I've done probably over 1,000 audio cards for them. Just a ton
and
of
I
them.
have all of them. I collect.
Me too. I love them so. But yeah,
Can I show my collection? I'll be right back.
Sure. Cam, I see you got quite a collection behind you of cool toys, including a Fred Flintstone and a Pillsbury Doughboy.
The Pillsbury Doughboy is vintage, but a lot of these other toys, see, I made the mistake of buying a 3D printer.
He really did make a mistake of buying a 3D printer.
That would be a problem for me, because I'd be printing Batman and Superman and everything else I can find.
Marvin the Martian and
oh boy, love it.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
right.
I'm going to blow up the earth.
Oh no, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
Anyway,
Yes.
I love the Pillsbury Doughboy. It's one of my heroes. Voiced that character, Paul Frees, way
Paul
back
Frees.
in the day. Try my new hard roll. Yeah. I'm packing downstairs. Take a look.
I always wanted to see the Pillsbury Doughboy like get trapped in the oven and then just kind of
Right.
Maybe as his
Being
very
cooked.
last
Right.
commercial ever, he just
Yeah.
and then that's it.
I don't want to be a muffin. No.
Not
Yeah,
my
that was
gumdrop buttons.
I think he really wanted a dough lady. He's like, hey,
You know-
where's my dough broad? I need a chick. Come on.
You know, I actually used to have it lost to time. There was a Pillsbury Dough
There
Girl.
was. Yeah, there was.
And this was a set. And there was a
Okay.
Doughboy and a Dough Girl. And unfortunately,
He ate the dough girl,
yeah.
so all that's
Well,
left is.
I got to say, everybody likes to eat a dough girl. There you go. So,
It was a late night
This is
session.
a family-friendly show.
oh, I'm so sorry. I do believe there was a dough kid, too. I think they had at least one dough baby or dough child, whatever you want to call it. So,
Little bun in the oven.
Yeah, bun in the oven.
I'm not paying child support. I'm going to Florida.
Anyway, well, I'm glad we got to chat and figure out who we are a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As you
tell
can
us more
tell,
about yourself. How'd you get involved
well,
in?
I'm mildly mentally ill, but that's okay. I get
Good.
paid to do it,
Welcome
so
to the
it's-
show. You fit right in.
There you go. I am primarily a voice talent, but I also do some casting. I can sing. Oddly enough, you wouldn't think I'd be able to, but I can.
Let's hear something. Sing.
All right, I'll do the jingle. For the best car insurance rates in town, call 1-800-GENERAL now.
That's good views. That's good
Yes.
singing.
Well, to sing as a character, if you're going to do stuff for American Greetings, that is a plus. If you can sing as different characters, like, sometimes they'll have you come in and you have to do a baby voice or a polar bear or a dog or what have you. And oftentimes there'll be a song as part of it. And they'll have a click track and you put your headphones on, the music plays, and then you come in. And lots of people don't know how to sing. So that's a little bit of a problem for them. But fortunately, I've learned how to do it, and it's been a good experience for me. So, it's very cool. Cam, can you sing?
Yeah. I think at one point in time I did like a Ghostbusters song voice match for you or something. Like,
Oh,
that's
okay, way
ringing a
back
bell.
when,
Yeah,
yeah.
way back when. Yeah. I do
Okay.
a lot of singing in character and stuff like that as well.
Well, then you are a
Yes.
true voice talent.
I can
So-
sing it. I can sing as America's favorite voice ever.
Okay.
I love you.
Oh,
You
Barney,
love
Wow.
We're a happy family.
the purple dinosaur. Yeah, I had to do Barney, and sometimes I'll do Barney as a naughty Barney and leave it as for friends on their voicemail. Hey, I've been thinking about you. Uh-oh.
Rick has also sent me a birthday greeting as Optimus Prime.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots, and we wish to send our friend, the human Cam Cornelius, birthday greetings. Cam, have a very safe and happy birthday. And by the way, all the Autobots are very jealous of your thick and lustrous hair. If only we robots could have hair like yours. It is magnificent. Autobots, transform and roll out!
I've done a ton of voice matching for Hasbro. They have a whole line of electronic Transformers toys. And oftentimes they can't, well, almost all the time, they cannot afford to have Peter Cullen or John DiMaggio or whomever might be voicing that character in the film to do it for the toy. Toys are usually a flat fee. It's non-union, so it's a buyout. And so they'll call me and say, hey, we got an Optimus Prime toy you want to do, or we'd like you to have you do it. Can you do it? Blah, blah, blah. Send me the script, show me the sound effects and all that good stuff. And then I go ahead and do it. So for the best car insurance rates in town, don't call me. I'm Optimus Prime. But anyway, yeah. Autobots transform and roll out. And the funny thing was, I got to do a recording session. I was in charge of it, believe it or not, with Peter Cullen out in LA. He was at Dave and Dave, and it was all Hasbro copy for the next several years of Toy Fair. And it was a 2-hour session, and he was probably close to 80 at the time. And he breezed through that, didn't need a break or anything. Couldn't have been nicer. He was super, super nice and just very talented, humble guy too. So I'm glad that the films came out and he began to make some real money, and that's super great.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's unforgettable. Sound like Autobots roll out.
That's
You
it.
just can't forget. I mean, it's unforgettable.
Well, if you're a child of the 80s, I'm not, but I grew up watching it anyway. I mean, it's like I was a huge cartoon guy, so I watched anything that was even remotely cool, I would watch it.
Yeah.
So Looney Tunes,
Of
G.I.
course.
Joe, everything, Transformers. I didn't watch My Little Ponies, but
Oh, My Little Pony.
You're not a
is
brony.
ready to
I'm not a brony.
Not a brony.
My Little Pony. I have a naughty song version of that too, but I won't sing it for you. So anyway,
That's on Entertainment Dudes After Dark.
that's
Or
it.
it's our OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Paid
But
content.
but yeah, I have a ton of fun. I do primarily most of the stuff that I do is commercial voiceover. So I'll get a call
Right.
from somebody and blah blah blah, do this or do that. And I'm sure Cam, you have agents just like I do. I think we both are rep by Tag, isn't that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jimmy out in Texas. Yes.
Jimmy Cobble. Yep.
That's
good
right.
Dude.
Yeah. Love Tag.
I do too. And I have a new spot coming out, not for the general, for a different product, but I can't talk about it because I'm under an NDA, but it will begin airing in about a month. So you'll hear me and you'll figure it out. Contact me if you really want to know who it is. So anyway,
I will. Yeah, we'll bring you back in. So yeah, tell us about like a traditional greeting card session. I see a lot of voice actors I know, and of course I've done it as well. So talk to me about the process of finding the right voice for the greeting card session, and then once you're in the session, doing it.
okay. Generally what happens is they'll send me a script. I'll get an email with the copy and sometimes the art as well. And that will kind of give me some clues as to what kind of voice it's going to require. Female, male, funny, goofy, heartfelt. They do, pretty much everything. Any kind of voice that you might need for any occasion, they need for their products. And some of them are online animated. They're called EGreetings. And then others are audio cards that are traditional paper card, like Cam showed earlier. It's a traditional paper card, but it has a tiny speaker and a chip in it. And the audio is burned onto that chip. And then when you open it, lights flash, or you may hear music, or you may hear a sound effects, or you may hear a voice, or a combination of all that. And generally, once we have the person that we like for that particular job, today, because of COVID, usually it's booked remotely. They'll do a Zoom session with the talent wherever they're located. And it's probably about a 25-minute session. And you will record multiple versions of that copy, and they'll give you direction. Just like any voiceover session, either the editorial folks or the audio producer themselves at American Greetings will give you some direction so that you know what to do and how to hit it and where to take it and do all that stuff. So it's very similar to any other kind of voice session that you would have as a voice talent.
How did you get involved in greeting cards? A lot of people don't think of voiceover when they think of greeting cards.
I got into it because before I became a voice talent, I was a commercial artist, and I specialized in toy design as well. That's why I know so much about the toy market. I have contacts within it. But I also did a lot of work for American Greetings. I did toys for them. They had a division called those characters from Cleveland. They did Popples, Mad Balls, Ring Raiders, a ton of different product, and they were riding high. And I was a freelancer, and I did a lot of work for them. And sometimes they bring me in-house, and I'd be working at a drawing table with other people, and I'd start doing a crazy voice. I'd start, talking to myself, or just to make people laugh and have fun. And a couple of the heads heard me, and they're like, "Hey, would you be willing to do character voices for us for the video projects and stuff that we're doing?" And I'm like, "What's it pay?" And they're like, "Pays a lot." And I went, "I'm in," and I did it. Yeah.
They're like, "How does free sound?" And you're like, "Bye-bye."
I don't do free. Yeah. But if you're willing to pay me, then it's all good. So that's what happened.
One of my favorite voiceover sound things I've ever heard in the history of my life, I got the other couple years back from my mom on my birthday.
Okay.
I want to see if I can share this. I want to see if I can bring it up, because if you haven't seen this, it's literally my favorite thing on the planet. So
it's your birthday today. It's your birthday today. There's a cat licking your birthday cake. It's your birthday today.
Very cute. I don't know who did it, but it's very, very cute.
Nice.
So, yeah, essentially the e-greetings are just like doing a little quick mini animated show or a series. Usually you're singing or doing a voice for a character. When you're doing it for American Greetings, it's usually for an occasion, anniversary or Christmas or Halloween or what have you. But same concept. You're doing little voices, cute little voices for an animated character. So a lot of fun and a good training ground for character voice talent that really want to learn how to do it. When I started doing it back in like 2007, I would go into studio there in the corporate office, and they would have probably 20 scripts that I'd never seen. They'd just hand them to me. And then I'd go through them, and I'd have to figure out what voices for each of them. They'd be aliens, they'd be kids, they'd be evil scientists, they'd be Santa Claus or a polar bear or what have you. And that's good because it's trial by fire. You learn very quickly how to have a repertoire of voices in your head that you can kind of go to and tweak and manipulate, and being able to imitate celebrities is helpful too. If you can, because they'll say, "Can you do it like Steve Buscemi?" And I'm like,
Margaret, what do you want from me? I don't know. So yeah, sure, I can do it that way.
but yeah, it's very helpful to be able to kind of go in and out of character, and they'll tell you that too much, or bring it down, or tone it down, or bring it up, or just try something different. What else you got? I've heard that a million times. What else you got? And
how do you? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
How do you keep track of what voice you use for what? Like, do you just have a repertoire you always go to, or do you ever come up on the spot? And how do you remember? Like, if you have to go back and re-record something later, how do you?
Well, thank goodness they'll usually have a recording of it, so they'll play it for you and go, "This is what you did before," and I go, "Okay, I got it," and then you do it. I don't know. I do a ton of impressions of celebrities and cartoon characters, so I just have a whole.
Those are defaults. Like, some are tools that you can just whip out because they're
it's like a toolbox. It's initially when I did the General way back in 1997, I think I had just finished a new character voice demo, and I submitted it to an agency in Beechwood, Ohio, that got that gig. They had the campaign, and the president of the company called me and said, "We got your demo. It's terrific. We have a new campaign. We're looking for a voice for it. Can you by chance do Yosemite Sam?" And I thought for a minute. I go, "Oh, you dead bird rabbit." I said, "Yeah, I can do it." He goes, "Can you do like a Clark Gable?" And I go, "Yeah. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." So he said, "Can you do like a combo of both and make it the General?" And I went, "Yeah, I can do that." So I did it, and they called me in the next day, and immediately they had me sign an agreement. And at the time I was broke, and they were going to pay me a lot of money. And I went, "How much money?" And they said, "We'll pay you this much. Can you sing?" And I went, "No, but I'll learn." So that's what I had to do. I had to learn. And I remember initially doing it, and the composer and engineer had me in his studio and began to play the music. And it was like he expected me to know when to come in. And I'm like, I don't know when to sing. And I said, "Can you point your finger at me?" And he looked at me disgustedly, but he did it. And he went, and I sang, and it worked out. So, yeah, after years of kind of learning how to do some character voice singing, I finally have it down pretty well. But yeah, that first time was terrifying. It was just like, I don't know what you want me to do or when I'm supposed to do it, but it worked out. And so yeah, that's how I got the General gig. And back then it was two different companies. It was A1 General and Permanent General, and they were in different parts of the country. And then probably around 2001, 2002, they merged. And at that time, the production moved from Ohio to California. And the company that had initially hired me to do it, Sapin and Richards, had gone out. They were done. And so the people at the General didn't know how to find me. And they ended up booking a new voice talent to do the General spots with my jingle. And I would see them on TV from my apartment. I'm like, "I want my job back." So I was very brave and bold. And back then you could do this. I picked up the phone. I called the General Insurance Company, and I asked to speak to the president. And the lady was like, "Well, I can give you his voicemail." I said, "Okay." So I got his voicemail, and I said, "I'm the General, and I want my gig back. Here's my number." And I hung up. And within 2 minutes he called me and he's like, dude, we didn't know how to find you. Where were you? Please call this gentleman out in California and we'll make it work. And I went, okay, I'm back. And that's how it worked. So
That's hilarious. I love that. Sometimes real life stories are just even better. They're better than what you can make.
well, you
I
couldn't
want my
do that
job
today.
back.
You'd never be able to get a hold of the guy. But back then, it was still possible to reach the right people. And
Right.
I tell people all the time, cold calling, people hate it, but it is effective. I'll do it from time to time. I don't like doing it any more than anybody else does, but it does work. If you introduce yourself, you're brief, you're professional, and let them know that you're a pro talent, you have a home studio, and you're ready to go, you're familiar with their product or service, you can get work. And I find I'm my own best agent. I still find that to be the case because when you're being repped by an agency, it doesn't really matter on who gets the gig on their roster as long as it's somebody on their roster. But when the client calls you directly and you're dealing with them, you can sell yourself.
Right.
And that, you make them, put them at ease, make them feel comfortable, and, make everybody, if you can, make them your friend. It really is beneficial. I would say that to anybody in voiceover, for any type of sales work, that is the key. Make yourself be likable and friendly and courteous and professional, and make those folks like you, and you'll get work.
And a lot of people just concentrate on, say, like a coastal market, but there's advertising agencies in
everywhere,
every state,
everywhere,
the whole country.
Yep. And so I tell new people all the time, look for a local agency in your area. And so go ahead and call them, ask if you can speak to the broadcast director or the creative director. And usually you can't, but sometimes you'll get a voicemail or an email. All that's beneficial. You reach out, you be very brief. You cannot be lengthy today because people don't have the time. But if you get a voicemail, even better. Use your pretty voice and sell yourself. Whatever your thing is. If you're an announcer, do it as an announcer. If you're a gal and you want to do the conversational read, do it, or the sexy voice, what have you. But leave them a message.
I want to hear the sexy voice. He clicks on his wife comes in to get a bring him his lunch, and
that could be a problem.
Hi, big boy. Who is that?
Yeah, I will do that occasionally, but I'll do it in my sexy man voice. I'll be like, hi, I can't wait to see you again.
You can't talk like that. That's oof.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It does work though, because
do it again.
They'll be like, you're so incredibly sexy. Will you do our voiceover? I sure will. And very helpful. So
anyway,
how
can they say no to that? I would just use that all
How
the time.
could you?
With testosterone.
You don't need to give me a ticket, sir, officer. He'd be like, you're right, I don't.
Yeah. And then I pull my shirt down, show them a little man cleavage, and they're all in.
He's like, are those moobs?
Yeah.
Yes,
they sure are.
They sure are.
And I grew them myself.
You're right. No ticket for you, but you can sit in my police car.
Sure.
Oh gosh.
Can I play the siren? Sure. But yeah, so if you're going to be a pro talent, that is a good way to kind of approach it, especially for new people that don't have an agent and are looking to find work. It's one facet of how you can discover work and make money, because in the end, it's a fun gig, but it is a job and you have to treat it like that. So, that's my 2 cents as far as finding work for folks that are interested in the business or are in it but want to make more money.
What about toy work?
Okay.
A lot of people say, and I hear a lot of non-voice actors say, I would love to voice a toy. So talk to me about that.
The toy market is unusual in that, generally speaking, when you get a script for a toy, it's not written by an editorial person, not a writer. Usually, oftentimes it's created by the designer or the electronic engineer, or a combination of both guys working together. So they really they're not voice people. They're not they're not directors. They're not casting people. They are in the business and they don't know what they want until they hear it. So it's different from working with an editorial person at a copywriter at an ad agency, where you're getting a writer is writing that material. Oftentimes it's written by designers, and they don't know exactly what to do with the copy. You have to interpret it and make it your own. Oftentimes, too, toy copy is very short because the time on a chip is limited. You've got maybe 17 to 26 seconds to have multiple phrases, sound effects, and maybe some music on there. What I do that's different than other folks is that my partner and I, Wes McCraw, also create proprietary sound effects and music for toy as well. So if they have an
great.
action theme or they want the Transformers theme, we'll recreate the whole thing. And if they have sound effects, they usually do probably 10 to 15. We'll give them like 3 of each. So they'll have like power-up sounds, blaster sounds, hypersonic missile sounds. All that stuff is a blast for me. I'm a big sci-fi guy. And I grew up watching every possible science fiction monster movie that there ever could be or was. So my head is filled with all kinds of cool, weird trivia and strange
Have you seen
stuff.
Barbarella?
I have. Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda made me a man. I don't forget how old I was. Maybe 8. Wow. So yeah, a strange film, but it's a cult classic. So there you go. Well, Jason, what type of stuff are you directing primarily? Are you doing commercial work, or are you doing?
Well, I'm actually doing a little bit of everything out here. It's so funny when in Nashville, I was doing a lot of music videos and worked for CMT, GAC, and then Cam and I worked together on the Dave Ramsey show. He had the radio show. I don't know if you know who he is, but he has a talk radio show that they wanted to do an online video channel for. So I got hired to help do the online video channel. And that's how Cam and I met through that process. And for me, I was starting to get tired of just doing music videos and different things. I kind of wanted to do films and TV. And so when that opportunity came, I was like, I want to do that. But when I came out here, all that stuff fell through, and I predominantly been doing a lot more commercial work, which is exactly not, exactly the opposite of what I wanted to do. But I have been doing, I've written a lot of scripts since I've been out here, and we're working on a film fund that, we'll see what happens. Things like this you can change, and a couple other projects that we've been working on for the last 3 years. They've been in development. So I think I spent the time just shifting the focus to, encompass not only directing but other projects that are related to it, including LED studio spaces, stuff like this. So and I did shoot a pilot last year that is under
I hope
review
the
right
airline
now.
was okay with that.
Yeah, well, after the pilot was he was always late to work and stuff,
Yeah.
so they said
Now, has the pilot been picked up, or is it?
No, right now it's so the different companies, like you have some that will have a bunch of shows that they'll put kind of like a 1 year.
Yeah, like a holding fee.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold
Yep.
for a year, and then they have a number of showrunners that they rep that take the shows and stuff. So we've been working with one of those. My producer, Cinnamon Hubler, she has a show already with them in circulation, and they're prepping it. And because of what happened the last couple of years, everything kind of froze.
Yeah.
So it's just been waiting, and they're backlog. So it is under review, and it's
Great.
under consideration. So it's one of those that you're just waiting for. And so yeah, I think I got about 15 scripts I wrote, a number of different shows, some reality shows and things like that. And so I think we'll see in the next couple of years, I just have a pretty good feeling that it's a lot better space. You have to build relationships. It takes
Absolutely.
It takes a long time. So anytime for any kind of industry, talent wise, even if you switch cities and you're going to try something else, I estimate 4 to 5 years before you can really begin to get into those relationships. Unless you already know someone when you come out. So
Right.
yeah, if you don't know anybody and you're building from the ground up, you think, why aren't they calling me back? I've been out here a year and nothing's happened. I was like, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's who you know.
Right.
And
A
those
lot
take
of it
time to
is.
build. Yeah.
Now, is the pilot you submitted, is it an animated pilot or a live action?
No, that's a live action. It's a
Okay.
live action. Yeah. And it's a 5 season. So we wrote 5 season arc already with like 20 something different characters. And I really love the concept that you give a character what they need, but not what they want. So when a character doesn't get what they want, they get what they need. I found that far more interesting. So it's that character development of arc of each character. So we did every single season mapped out for all these characters about their emotional arc, their mental arc, spiritual. We listed everything possible, and we gave them exactly the opposite of what they wanted, but gave them all what they needed. And so
Okay.
it took about 3 or 4 months to develop all of those storylines, in addition to just the development of the story itself, as it fulfills over the course of 5 seasons. And I love it. I think it's phenomenal. The characters that some of the characters that I've got cast for it, that we shot the pilot for, just absolutely brilliant. So I look forward to seeing some of these things. Hopefully this year we're back, but we'll find out. And if there's somebody else that wants to hear a really good idea that happens to be watching the show, it's a
cool.
really phenomenal idea. So I think it's just that dream, something I've always been passionate about. I've always loved telling stories. When I worked with in Nashville with the company called Seventh Story, I think we did about 45 short films. We did a series, like 2 or 3 episodic series for them that we developed for a company called Lifeway there. And then we did 3 features with them. And so I think that was just in my blood. And then when I stopped working with them and I ended up doing more music videos and different things, music videos I think are an awesome palette to test stuff. Like there's not necessarily a story. So it's a really great place to say, let's try this. Let's do this. Like I want to, you paint. It's like I don't know, your imagination can just go wild.
Right.
Whereas a story, once you've established something, it's like it's set in stone. This is what the story is. This is
Right.
the vibe. You can't just suddenly jump to something else unless you really want to throw the audience. But a music video, who cares? And
Right.
I think they're a fantastic place for any director to cut their teeth on. Like just do it. And there's a couple of places where you can find artists that are up and coming artists and just say, hey, you want to do a music video? And that's how I got started. So we just started developing music videos for people who I like their music. I heard it and I'm like, I really like this sound. It's really cool. Do you want to collaborate? And then from there, I got to work with Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson and a lot of different country artists, and
Very
it was
cool.
fun. So I think it's just, it's like you said, where you start, and it's the knock on the door. It's the call people. You're doing a lot of stuff for free when you're starting.
You
like,
have
just,
to.
Yeah.
But you know what? I find that is an inroad. If you are willing to collaborate when you're beginning and you're willing to work with people and not get paid, don't look for a paycheck when you're beginning. You kind of have to put the time in,
Right.
build those relationships, and then wait for the right time. And when things kind of collide and everything's working, you'll make money and you'll get a gig. So it's good advice.
Yeah, one
But-
thing I started doing when I was in college is I developed a production company, and I created a network of independent contractors. And at the time, that was early 2000s, and I had hired people from all around the world to work on the development, the animation, the graphics. And so while I was sleeping, things were getting made, and then when I would wake up, they were done. And I think one thing that's not taught in film school, and it's not taught in a lot of art and creative fields, is how to run a business.
True.
And I think if you're going to work for yourself, any sort of creative, you are the business of you. You are you incorporated, as Dave always says. Like,
Yep. And I, to be honest, I am really purely a creative. I'm not business savvy, but
Yep.
I've been able to do it well enough that I've been able to make money and do okay. But at heart, I'm a big kid. I like having fun and doing crazy voices. And, it's so fun to be able to go into the booth and be a rock star, especially if you have people. Now, over the COVID period here, you had to work from home in your booth and you're by yourself. But when you get to go into a studio and strap on your headphones and walk up to the mic and there's people out there and you start doing something and they go crazy, they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling. Probably not unlike what a comic feels when he's on stage, really hitting everything and all. It's just firing on all cylinders, and it's a great feeling. Just really tremendous.
For some reason, I always find that when you go to the studio, like you're saying, the collaboration, even though people might be online when you're at home doing it, when you're in the studio, there's a different energy.
The energy is different.
Yes.
Yep. It's like having a live audience as opposed to doing a taped program or something. It's just that energy you feed on. And the more the people kind of appreciate what you're doing, the crazier you can go and take it in different directions. And, for me, it's always a challenge to keep it between the white lines, because I will go off into the weeds and do some crazy stuff. And people are like, oh my God, did he say that? And I'm like, no, you just thought I did. But anyway, so I always have trouble making sure that I keep it clean and not too crazy. So Cam, I'm
Very
sure
cool.
you've experienced that same thing.
Oh, yes. I voice campaign here in Tennessee it's basically viruses. It's a vaccination campaign.
Oh, okay, very
And I
cool.
voice all the viruses. And it's funny you should, talk about that energy, because I got booked for one voice and we're in the campaign and they wanted to try out some other voices. Just so you got to have that repertoire.
Yeah,
And I ended up booking all the male voices in the campaign. And
Terrific.
the announcer and all that stuff in the session. So that's been a very fun project, doing the flu virus and MMR and all these different viruses, and one's a stand-up comic, another one's an army guy, another one's just this really annoying character. So it's been a fun gig.
that's great. Do you get to do Hep C too?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Let me hear a little Hep C. I got to hear what Hep C sounds
Oh
like.
gosh, I do so many voices in this campaign. I want you to hear it in the campaign. Let me see if I've got a copy of that right
Hey,
now.
I'm Influenza. Here with my friends HPV and measles.
Present.
We're doing a little social networking.
Hey, I'm a giver. That's part of being HPV.
Ever notice how you can be one virus and have two different names? They call me chickenpox and shingles, but I like something edgier. How about chicken shingapocalypse? Just don't call me late for an infection. It's okay if you don't like us, because we like you.
Protect your tomorrows. Get vaccinated today.
So, what can I give you?
A message from the Tennessee Department of Health.
I was hoping Hep C was in there, so
Well, email it to me separately. I'd love to hear it.
yeah.
Not that I want Hep C, but I want to hear your Hep C.
We're almost up on that clock. And speaking
Okay.
of time, yes, how can people get a hold of you if they want your services, or even if they're interested in maybe working in greeting cards or toys, and you might want to work with them.
Sure. You can reach out to me at my website. It is richardsellers.com. And also, we produce demos. It's Primo Demos. I don't know if you can see the logo, but if you're a voice talent and you're looking to get into the business and you need a demo, give us a jingle. You can go to the website. It's primodemos.com and check out other people's demos. I will be doing a class for live VO. I think it is the 12th of April on voicing a brand. So it's kind of doing commercial voice work for jingles and animated characters, that sort of thing. And I'll be at VO Atlanta along with Wes McCraw this year at VO Atlanta 2022.
The last VO Atlanta.
The very last one.
Yeah.
And I was scheduled to go in 2019, right when the pandemic hit. And so it'll be nice to be able to go there and press the flesh. Are you going to go by chance?
So I think I have got I'm trying to schedule it in, but I think I've got an actual live shoot that weekend. So
well,
it's still in limbo.
Okay, if you do make it, we'll go out and grab a beer.
Yes.
So it'll be cool.
And if I don't, I'll make sure to head up your way, or the next time you're in Nashville.
Yeah,
we will do the same.
Okay, very cool. Well, guys, I've had a blast rapping with you. I hope I didn't say anything too bad. If I did, bleep it out.
I guess we'll bleep out most of the show then.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
We could just randomly cut words out. And,
welcome, Rick Sellers.
Yeah.
yeah.
like
He's like,
me.
what the what's up, guys? Holy, this fucking show is awesome.
It's like years ago, Mad TV, I think Will Sasso did a parody of the Sopranos. He played Tony Soprano, and they had to cut every other word out. And it was just brilliant.
What the Christ? I mean, I can't believe it.
So, yeah, a lot of fun.
Well, you've been fun as always. Thank you so much for coming on the show and
I had a ball,
talking
man.
about everything you do, and it's been a blast.
I've had a great time, guys. Thank you. Jason, have a great day. I wish
Thank
you all
you.
the luck in the world, and Cam, the same. If anything comes up, I'll give you a shout out and you can audition for it. So
I
Great.
appreciate that as
Absolutely.
always.
I
Always great
dabbled
working
in
with
voiceover.
you.
absolutely.
Folks, that's been Entertainment Dudes with the amazing Richard Sellers.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Musical guest Rick Sellers.
We'll catch you later.
Okay, man. Have a great day. Peace.
Entertainment Dudes.